Desk on Global Television, time for us to look at issues from various perspectives and give you a very balanced analysis of all trending stories, especially those on the global scene and on the home front. And today is no different, but we'll be having two sets of guests in the course of the program. The first 30 minutes, we'll be having a guest in the person of Farouk Akaolisa, who is a new procedures and ways to better their farming produce and better their yields in terms of using some micro organic additions. Can you take us more into that?
Yeah, we during some of our research work we have done around on how to improve the agricultural system. Starting from Nigeria, where we are currently working with my foundation, Culture of Peace Foundation. We have actually signed, some, partnership with, CHC Agritech Africa, a company, that is actually trying to revolutionize microbiome solution, right? What we are trying to do is to, first of all, be able to provide the farmers with advanced technology that allows them to mitigate most of these problems created by climate change. Because just like I said, the land is very, very solid. The nutrients, there's no, the land is no longer retaining nutrients as it. So we need a solution that works from the roots of the soil. You need a solution, a product like an organic solution that begin to rejuvenate the soil nutrients, because that is the only way you can get it right. We need to make the land rich again before we can have good productivity. So I think on that part we have a solution. We have a technology, just like I said, around beneficial microbes that allows the of course improvement in agricultural system. And of course the training aspect of it is also very important, because we are promoting a climate smart responsive agricultural system. So, and before these farmers can actually adopt such a smart technology, they also need to be smart themselves. So we realize, within the time of our research work and the field activities that we've conducted, we realize that most farmers are actually not, updated with these current trends. So this is where the training comes. They actually need to be trained for them to be able to align with the best practices.
All right, we hope this, but in terms of government's contribution, when it comes to food security, do you think the government of African nations have done enough? Have they focused enough in the right part when it comes to agriculture?
Yeah, I don't think so. Even though there has been several programs, initiated by even some agricultural agencies and some governments being supported by the World Bank, and a lot of programs that the state government and federal government of each country has been trying to put up there. But I think that more needs to be done, because Africa is very rich in terms of our ecosystem, in terms of our land, in terms of our resources. So we also have the young people who are the working age group. So more investment needs to go into agriculture. And this we must do in a very attractive way to encourage the youth to know that apart from looking for a white-collar job, you can actually become very successful as a farmer.
All right, we're still looking at big issues making the rounds on the program, The Desk on Global Television. My guest is still Farouk Akaolisa, the founder and CEO of the Culture of Peace Foundation. All right, we're moving to the next talking point, which has to do with maritime security. Federal government seeking international cooperation, and the story lines out that President Bola Tinubu has emphasized the importance of international cooperation on maritime security to unlock the vast potential of Africa's blue economy. The president spoke at the 2024 International Maritime Conference in Lagos, held to commemorate Nigeria's Navy's 68th anniversary. Represented by the Vice President Ashim Shetima, the president acknowledged the transnational nature of maritime threats and the need for greater international cooperation. How key is, in terms of international cooperation within the African continent and outside, do you think African countries have done enough in terms of adhering to treaties and parts? Because remember fully well when Nigeria did enter a treaty with Chad, Niger, and I think Cameroon in terms of fighting the Boko Haram insurgents. At a point, once Chad had succeeded in driving out the terrorists from their enclave, from their country, they seemed to back out and left the fight for Nigeria and others.
Yeah, I think you are right, because before, in as much as we always want to look for external support, we should also, always look inward what we can do, because if African Union at the helm of affair, we are, or let's say ECOWAS, if you're not focusing on the West African region, and we are able to look down, into this matter and see the need why, some level of cooperation is needed for across, African institutions, African government that can work together to ensure that security at all levels, whether it is maritime security, air security, land security, because Africa is supposed to be, in one continent. It's one continent that, regardless of the border and border closures and all these things, we're supposed to be like an open continent that you can easily travel from Nigeria to Ghana, from Ghana to Cameroon without necessarily having any interference. But since we have these boundaries and these border and demarcations, I think there's also a need for them to also go back to some laws, African laws, that actually protect ease of navigating some of the security threats. So it's something that requires more collaboration, and I don't think that much has been done in that aspect.
But in terms of the blue economy, which has to do with maritime, do you think Africa realizes the potential that lies within, in terms of what the benefits that could accrue from the blue economy sector?
Yes, because I think African countries, I'm sure they are aware, because we have leaders who are highly exposed, that they know that yes, the economy, there's a paradigm shift in the global economy system, and the potential inherent in the maritime cannot be underestimated. So it's a matter of pulling the right team, looking inward and looking at how we can talk to the experts we have and see how we can get a good advice from them on how we can convert these things to economic opportunities, because there's actually a lot of potential on water. You can generate electricity, you can generate gas, you can generate, even food. So even the issues of food insecurity we're talking about, do you know how much you can generate economic, likewise, when you focus on some seafood and you're able to harness that potential, you can, think of your energy supply from this water. And so there's a lot of economic activities can be actually, generated from this, but more investment, more policy decision, more strategic approach needs to be deployed, and importantly, African countries need to also work hand in hand before they can achieve this goal.
All right, well said there. As we look at the statement of Mr. President saying Africa needs more collaboration for Africa and the entire continent to get the full potentials of the blue economy. And moving on, let's quickly just run into Rivers quickly before we go for a quick break. With Governor Sim Fubara on Wednesday swore in new caretaker chairman for the 23 local government areas of the state. The governor inaugurated the new caretaker chairman hours after the House of Assembly, led by factional Speaker Victor Jumbo, screened and confirmed the nominees. Governor Fubara had forwarded the list to the State House of Assembly on Tuesday, and the nominees were invited for screening as early as 8 a.m. on Wednesday, according to a statement issued by the clerk of the House. Let's look at what's played out in the last 48 hours in Rivers, where first of all, on June 17th, once the tenure of the local government chairman had expired, and on the 18th, we had Orwell Ihunda, who is the chairman of the Port Harcourt City local government, trying to come back to office, saying the earlier verdict of the factional speaker, who is loyal to Ransom Wiki, had given them the mandate to extend their tenure for the next 6 months. But he got what he least expected when the youth of Rivers, took charge of the secretariat and almost chased him, and he was almost losing his life. Fast forward after that, the next we hear is governor, sending lists to the House, and now he has, sworn in 23 caretaker chairman. Do you think finally Fubara might just be able to have a hold of the government of the state?
Yeah, I think if you have seen since this, this conflict of interest, involving the former governor of Rivers State, Wiki, and the incumbent governor, you will find out that at this point, the youth, which are more of the strong force in the state, have actually taken to their feet to say, look, this is what we want, and this is, we want our country to, the direction we want our country to go. Politics is actually not, I used to say, is not a do or die affair, and things must be done properly, regardless of whose interest is served. on the long term, but of course, importantly, the interest of the people should be projected ahead of everything. So when this call was made, and there was this understanding that this caretaker has to be sworn in for at least 23 local government. There was issues like trying to eruption of some crises and instability in the state for a couple of hours, and before that tide was actually bring to stability. The state should be each state should be in a position to take care of the people in a way that makes sense, not just trying to serve interest of one politician or the other. If at this point that the youth feel that, look, their tenure is over and there is no any other mandate that is going to stand by extending that tenure to the next 6 months, I think they have issue that public statement, and they stand by it. And finally, we see that the caretaker chairman has been sworn in.
All right, that's